Welcome to the She Wins podcast. I'm your host, Heather Sumlin, and I have my aha moments from my interview with Jordyn McKey, Miss North Carolina, USA 2023. I have several things. So the first thing is I always ask everybody, what's your definition of winning? And she said, you win when you start losing. And I'm like, oh, great. And she says, because you don't know what you need to know until you've actually been humbled to be able to get the lesson. And then so you fix what you need to fix and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And it took her 5 tries to win a state competition. And she won at the perfect time for her and for her actual journey. And so she says, you win when you start losing. And I think maybe it's embracing the loss as a lesson is probably when you really win. And I really like that. Another thing we talked about is she mentioned letting go of the want. And then we had a little discussion about letting go of the want and also letting go of the when, meaning W-H-E-N, right? When is it going to happen? And she said when she won Miss North Carolina, she had a tremendous amount of struggle that week. Her boyfriend was diagnosed with brain cancer. And so the pageant itself was the least important thing in her life. It was the thing that she wasn't, it wasn't the most important thing like it usually is when you compete. It was the least important thing. But so she had kind of let go of the want. And because she had also realized to let go of wanting it so much, it released her to be 100% authentic to who she was and to be super vulnerable. And it's a beautiful story. I hope you watch it. The other thing she said is to end your day with your 3 W's, which is your 3 wins of the day. And I love that because I'm a big fan of closing every day, like ending each day with praise, which this is a really good way to do that. Like you're just looking back at the day and saying, what are my 3 W's? Where did I win? When we did our Patreon episodes, we did one for women and we did one for pageantry. And the one that we did for women, she talked a lot about her role in pharmaceutical sales and medical device. And so one of the things that she would do is she would actually have to train surgeons on a particular device because she worked for the company. So she was one of 6 individuals who was actually qualified to teach this. But one of the things that she said is then if you're going to walk into a room where people might be more educated than you, but you're more knowledgeable than them on your subject matter, you need to own what you know. You need to take up space in the room and be willing to own what you know. So I really loved what she talked about there for women. So if you're not a Patreon member, I highly recommend that you join the Patreon membership so that you can grab that story and that example and some of the things that she had to say, because she's a powerful woman and it's so fun to see her advice for women. When we talked about pageantry, we did a longer episode for pageant. She talked about so many different things. It's really a beautiful episode. So if you're in pageant, please join the Patreon membership. Grab that episode. Watch all of them. There's a ton of content on my Patreon channel. But she says, don't forget your training. Like you've worked so hard and you've put so much effort and energy, money, time, sweat, tears, all the things into the prep. Don't forget what you've been learning. Like make sure that you, and I like to say trust your training, like let go of the need to continue to train while you're there. Trust your training, execute with excellence. You can do it, ladies. So thank you so much for watching. Those are just a couple of the things that she said that really resonated with me. The whole conversation was just so powerful. And I think the other thing that she said, and I'm just going to throw it like off the top of my head. I asked her like, how do you compartmentalize? Because so many things going on in her life. Like, how do you compartmentalize? And she says, I didn't, and I don't think you should. And you got to watch it. So have a blessed rest of your day, everybody. Like this if you do, share it with a friend. If you're not a Patreon member, I welcome you to join.